The official release date of Battlefield 6 is October 10th, 2025, with pre-orders beginning on July 31st. So is the large-scale war franchise that we all grew to love back in the day finally back from the dead? Well, this game has become the biggest talking point of the week ever since its initial reveal trailer, and especially after its 4-hour-long showcase, which also included the live streamer event. And I mean, everybody's practically shouting from the rooftops, "Battlefield is back! Battlefield is returned to form! Take my money!" And I mean, I've definitely been drawn into the hype. I mean, this is the best that Battlefield has seen in a long while. The excitement is real, but I can see why some people are skeptical, to say the least. Because hear me well, EA, fool me once with Battlefield 5, shame on you. Fool me twice with Battlefield 2042, shame on me. But also shame on you, because I mean, what was that mess? But you won't fool me 3 times. Unless you count Battlefield Hardline, then I guess you fooled me 3 times already. But will this time be different? Well, let's find out, shall we? I've gathered everything there is to know about the game before its beta, which is launching in August, and its full release later this year. So what makes Battlefield 6 Battlefield 6? Well, from what I've gauged online, the whole vibe that they're trying to push is that the franchise is finally returning back to its roots. I mean, wow, where have I heard that before? But hold on, because there may actually be something to this. They're sort of abandoning the whole 2042 vibe, which is that you'll have this post-apocalyptic sort of setting, but yet you have all these quirky lines at the end of the match.
That's it? I'm ready for round 2.
I am not overconfident. I'm just better than everyone else. That was something, right?
And the operator system is long gone. Instead, it's returning back to the classic formula we all grew to love. The 4 classes: Assault, Engineer, Support, and Recon. And a much more serious, grounded tone this time around, with 2 distinct sides going against one another instead of just everybody being an old granny. The classes themselves will come with a signature weapon, a signature gadget, a sidearm, melee, grenades, additional gadgets, a trait, and a training specialized for a particular subclass. Training paths are basically perks that you can unlock as you play, giving you new benefits as you progress. Level 0 provides passive benefits. Levels 1 and 2 enhance your role by getting team play progression and score XP. And level 3 gives one-time use abilities that are manually activated. Like for a recon, you can call in a UAV to mark enemies and positions. I mean, take the engineer role, right? Which is more focused on dealing with the vehicles in the game. They're more proficient with submachine guns. They have the iconic repair tool, which they can use to heal and repair vehicles. And they're also more resistant to explosives. And for specializations, you have anti-armor, which allows you to deal with vehicles more effectively by having faster reloads and more ammo for rocket launchers, or you could choose the combat engineer, which allows you to auto repair vehicles that you are piloting alongside using the repair tool for longer. No more wingsuits, flying hovercrafts, and not a single mechanical arm in sight. I don't know how many times I've seen a franchise go through like this weird experimental phase, find out that it flops miserably, and then revert back to the old ways in order to try and gain back some goodwill. I mean, I'm all for innovation, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The weapon list is rather limited for now, but I'm hopeful that we'll receive more weapons when the game fully releases. What is interesting to note, however, is that weapon attachments now use a points economy. 100 points in total to spend, with more powerful attachments being more expensive. I mean, take a shotgun, right? You have a scope that could cost 10 points, you could put on an angled grip that could cost like 30, and if you want to swap the ammunition, you could use slug rounds that would cost you 40 points. I'm not really sure how I feel about this system, to be honest. It feels needlessly restrictive when it comes to customization, right? But on the other hand, I do see how this could prevent people from creating some broken and disgusting builds for certain weapons. But I mean, that's going to happen anyway. It's a multiplayer game. People are going to find the best builds no matter what you do. But I don't know, maybe it'll be less problematic when we actually play the beta. Battlefield 6 will also release with 9 maps in total, ranging from smaller urban areas to large-scale landscapes. But the main thing I'm really looking forward to is the destruction. I mean, Battlefield 5's destruction was alright, but 2042 left a lot to be desired. It seems like you're able to destroy much more of the map, which also includes the floors in buildings should you wish to breach it. And I mean, that's always been one of the big highlights of the series, right? Being able to destroy your surroundings and watching a tall building collapse in front of you. And it seems like they're trying to enhance that even more with this new title. These maps will feature classic game modes that we've come to associate with the franchise, such as Conquest, Team Deathmatch, Rush, Domination, and a new mode called escalation. Basically, like two teams basically fight to control these strategic points in order to gain more control of the map, with fewer strategic points being available as the game progresses. But I mean, speaking of game modes, the custom game modes in Battlefield look so good. I mean, you can basically like shape and create maps as you see fit, which has so much potential for creativity, right? They basically just added the Halo Forge into Battlefield. I'll be very interested to see some of the weird and wacky creations the community creates this time around. Things like one-shot kill, parachute races, infections. The possibilities seem endless this time around. However, the one thing that does give me pause is the fact that this game is coming with a Battle Royale mode. It has been confirmed after months of leaks online that the Battle Royale mode will be coming to Battlefield Labs before eventually coming to the game. However, some of the new additions to the genre have been lackluster to say the least, and it's resulted in BRs in general just feeling kind of stale recently. You only need to look at Battlefield 5's BR to see that it hasn't really been a smash out feature for the franchise. I'm not preying on its downfall, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't entering this with very low expectations. I'd be interested to see how it sort of stands out from the crowd. Leaks have suggested online things like an instant kill death zone and a fairly small battle royale map, but I'll believe it when I see it. Battlefield 6 will also come with a fully fledged campaign focusing on a squad called Dagger 1-3. The year is 2027, and apparently several countries have left NATO to join the coalition, which is working with private militaries like Pax Armada to take down America and its remaining allies. An interesting premise to say the least. Heck, with the way things are going now, I wouldn't be surprised if this actually ends up somewhat becoming reality. But I gotta be honest, aside from Bad Company, I've never really cared for the campaigns. I know, I'm sorry. I enjoy a story just as much as the next guy, but just not when it comes to this franchise. Aside from Bad Company, I'd say Battlefield 1 also did something very interesting with its stories, and then it kind of went downhill with Battlefield 5. Now, another popular topic that has been circling online is the discussions around cosmetics. But this is Electronic Arts we're talking about. Microtransactions and this company tend to come hand in hand. But what people are demanding is that Battlefield 6 doesn't go down the path of Call of Duty, with its dark, gritty military shooter suddenly has characters like Rick Sanchez, Goku, and Nicki Minaj running around all over the place. They want this to be a military shooter through and through, and don't want people dressing up as Santa Claus. I mean, based on the pre-order bonuses, it doesn't look too egregious. I mean, the Phantom bundle gives a lot of the quirky edginess you usually see in Call of Duty anyway, but it's very clear that they're not afraid to push the line between realism and flashy cosmetics. But I mean, there's nothing to stop EA from pulling a complete 180 and dumping a bunch of collaborative skins into the game. But I mean, heck, just look at Rainbow Six Siege. Soon we'll be having rainbows and magic in Battlefields as well. But good news, Battlefield 6 will not be following the recent $80 to $90 trend. Instead, it will be releasing at $70. Hallelujah. Honestly, I was expecting like the $100 Phantom Edition to be like the standard price, but I'm glad to see that Electronic Arts has some semblance of self-control and awareness to know that having an expensive barrier of entry may not be the best idea. Last thing I want to talk about is how Battlefield 6 came to be and how it may potentially shape the future of the franchise. Of course, this has been shaped by Battlefield Labs, a community development initiative by EA that gets players directly involved in developing future installments. The four studios that were working on Battlefield, DICE, Criterion, Motive, and Ripple Effect, have basically banded together to form Battlefield Labs, because apparently the trend is that every AAA studio now needs to be named after the game that they're making. The long and short of it is, they reach a certain build of the game, they invite players to test it, they make alterations if necessary, and they rinse and repeat that cycle until they eventually release the game. Basically a fancy way of saying closed alpha test. And honestly, I'm surprised that developers have taken this long to adopt this approach more aggressively, but I'm glad to see players are becoming more involved in shaping future games, instead of these companies taking million-dollar gambles and hoping for the best. Some of the best games have been made thanks to community involvement, so that's possibly why I'm a bit more optimistic when it comes to Battlefield 6, but cautiously so. I cannot wait for this to age either really well or really poorly. But overall, it seems like Battlefield is making a huge comeback, and I don't think I've ever seen a title in this franchise be pushed so much to this extent. I'm seeing a lot of streamers and content creators give very positive outlooks to the game, but I mean, of course they would, right? They were invited to the event. It's basically a light sponsorship, if you will. Based on what I've seen, it looks like a lot of fun, and I myself cannot wait to actually jump into the action. Early access beta tests will begin begin on August 7th, whilst open beta tests will begin on August 9th and August 14th, with in-game rewards available when you play that will carry over to the official release. I don't know if I'll ever put as much time into a Battlefield game as I did with Battlefield 4, when you had to grind for that stupid phantom bow, and then a couple of updates later they ended up giving that out to everybody for free. I don't want to see any of that shenanigans here. Hopefully Battlefield 6 ends up living up to the hype and we don't end up having to put another game in the long list of dead games that ended up being flops and disappointments. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.